My name is Sepy. I'm not sure if I've been introduced yet or not. I just kind of jumped in here, so we will do a quick intro in a moment. But thank you guys for all being here. I just want to thank Sue and Richard and the whole RRI team for having me. It's an honor to present for you guys here today, and I'm very grateful. Today we're going to be talking about real estate marketing during and after COVID-19. We're going to be taking a look at the state of real estate marketing today, and a little bit in the near future as well. So why don't we jump right into it? So my name is Sepy Bazzazi. I'm the director of marketing at RealtyNinja. We make awesome websites for real estate agents. We've been in the business for about, actually next Thursday is our 10th birthday. And so we've been doing this for years. Before that, RealtyNinja was a different company that was making custom sites for agents. So we've always been in this business, and I've been with the RealtyNinja team for about 9 years in total now, working with real estate agents. Most of my professional career has been focused on this, and our philosophy at RealtyNinja has always been to provide value to real estate agents as a form of marketing. And so providing educational seminars and webinars like the one that I'm on here today is something that is commonplace for us. So I'm very excited to be here with you guys today. What we're going to be doing on the agenda today, actually, if we can just go back a second, is talking about some COVID stats, internet statistics in the COVID era. We're going to jump into some opportunities for realtors based on that data and those statistics. And then we're going to look a little bit into the crystal ball, into the future of what's going to happen next after everything kind of eases up and COVID's over. Are we going to bounce back to normal, or is there going to be a kind of a new normal? I've got a question and answer slide, but it's my understanding that we're going to do a Q&A later on in the day. So I urge you guys all to please send in your questions, whether they're related to this presentation or just marketing, real estate marketing, or real estate websites in general. I'm more than happy to answer. So let's just jump into it with a quick quote that I love. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. This is a quote that I use in my daily life, probably at least once a week. Just remind myself of it, or pass it on to others. It's a U.S. Navy SEALs quote, but I actually originally heard it watching Modern Family. Phil Dunphy, if you know him, he's actually, funnily enough, a residential real estate agent, and he used this quote, and it's stuck with me ever since. I think it really resonates in a time like this where the market is slow, business is slow, finances are tight, everything feels like it's been slowed down to a crawl in the world. And it's good to remind yourself that slow isn't a bad thing. Slow is smooth. It's time to focus. It's time to be deliberate and really take action. And when you do that, when you think of it that way, as you're still moving forward, things are kind of moving fast and they're progressing deliberately. So don't worry. If you're standing still, that's a problem. But if you're moving slowly, that's actually fantastic. So keep it up. So with that said, let's jump into some statistics around COVID-19. So on the next slide, we're gonna go into the first set of statistics. Let's start at the top. These days, people are home. We all know that. We've been asked by our governments to stay at home and self-isolate. And so with that comes the use of more internet, right? We're all kind of connected on our phones everywhere we go. But now that we're at home spending so much time kind of isolated, we're more and more on the internet. And the interesting thing is we're actually browsing the internet more from our desktops and our laptops than from our mobile devices, because we're not on the go and we have access to these laptops and desktop computers. So that's interesting. Another big one is Zoom. Like we all know Zoom now. We might not have known Zoom in February, but we all know about it. We're using Zoom today actually for this conference. Zoom has grown a great deal. In the beginning of March, there was 2 million daily app sessions for Zoom. Now there's over 7 million daily app sessions, and that's growing. And if you guys are in the stock market, Zoom's stock price has skyrocketed, and it's still not a bad time to buy their stocks. They're going to keep on growing. Google and Facebook are the largest ad networks out there on the internet for pay-per-click advertising. Google and Facebook are predicted to lose more than $44 billion in ad revenue this year. That could even trickle into 2021, but it's important to note that what's happening is people are trying to save money. They're pulling their ad budgets, and they're worried that people are going to think that if you're a business that's advertising right now, that's not being very sensitive. So everyone's pulling their ad budgets, And it's resulting in Facebook and Google losing a ton of money, but it's also resulting in lower ad costs, which is interesting, and lower competition in the advertising field. Also related to advertisements, ROI is up to 53% in the post-COVID time versus 31% pre-COVID. So that's also a reflection of less ads being out there, kind of cluttering the landscape. There's some more stats on the next slide. 8% of consumers, only 8%, think that brands should stop advertising. So if you stopped advertising because you thought you were being insensitive during COVID, that's actually a mistake. Most people don't think that it's insensitive, but most people do want you to advertise and be helpful. So they want you to be sensitive to what's going on in the world, but they don't want you to stop advertising necessarily. Social media engagement up big time, no big surprise. It's up 61%, and that's because people are on their phones more and on their computers more, browsing social media, whether they're looking for news, looking to connect with family, or just bored and browsing, right? So social media engagement is up big time. Another aspect of social media engagement being up is that messaging across Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and other tools like that is up a great deal. So people are more connected to their family and their friends using these tools than they needed to be before, when they could hang out with them more in person. Another cool stat that's a little bit about the internet, but also just about general behavior of people, is that 31% of internet users in the 16 to 64 age range have said that they're going to shop online more frequently after COVID. They have found it to be really useful and really easy and convenient. And even a lot of them are doing their grocery shopping online and having groceries delivered to them. So 30% are expected to visit stores less frequently after this. So our behavior as consumers and as people is actually changing. The world is changing, and that's not going to end right when COVID ends and right when the government says we are all safe to go back to work and go back to life. On the next few slides, we're going to look at some media consumption statistics, and each slide is broken out by a different generation. So this first one is millennials, people ages 24 to 37 years old. These percentages are percentages of people who say they have started consuming a type of media or consuming more of that type of media. So on the right side on the graph, you can see everything listed out: online video, video games, broadcast TV, etc. I'm going to highlight the top three, and I believe you guys will get a copy of these slides so you can kind of deep dive into it on your own time. But the top three for millennials are online video, which is 44% consumption growth, online TV and streaming, 41%. So the difference between those two would be online video would be like YouTube, for example, or Facebook videos, whereas online TV and streaming would be, Netflix, something like that. And then online press is number three. So people are looking for news online. Millennials are out there on news networks, reading news websites and trying to get their COVID information through these news and online press sites. Let's look at the next group, which is Gen X. These are 38 to 56-year-olds. Same exact layout, so I'm just going to highlight the top three. Number one is broadcast TV at 45%, so they're watching actual just cable television more. Online TV and streaming also, Netflix and Amazon Prime and platform. Hey, sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure why that happened, but I think the last thing I was talking about, and I'll jump right back into it, is the third stat, which was radio at 38%. So if you've ever thought about radio advertising, now is really the time for those Gen Xers. So let's jump into the next one, boomers. They're same kind of graph again. For these guys, not a lot has changed. Their media consumption has not changed too much or grown too much, except for with broadcast TV and online TV streaming. But their second biggest growth is actually listed as none. So not a lot of behavior change here for these guys. The majority of behavior change is happening for the millennials and the Gen Xers. So let's look at some opportunities on the next slide for real estate agents to kind of take advantage of these statistics and these information. So let's jump into it. Opportunity one is your real estate website. It's never been more important to have a real estate website that belongs to you than it is today. Make sure that if you don't have your own website for your team, brokerage, or your own personal real estate corporation, that you sign up ASAP and get one set up, and make sure that it's optimized for desktop. A lot of people are browsing, the internet from their desktop and laptop computers these days. So make sure your website is not only optimized for mobile, but it looks fantastic on a desktop. If you guys need help creating a website, RealtyNinja does that. We're happy to help you guys out. And RRI friends get a 10% discount. So you can reach out to me or Sue and we can help you with that. On your website, try and help people. It used to be about converting leads, converting visitors into leads, and it still is, but you're going to do more of that if you focus on connections and focus on being helpful through your website these days. People are looking for advertisers to be helpful. That extends to your website. So maybe create a COVID-19 resource center. Maybe focus your content resources and main call to actions on being helpful and giving people information rather than trying to sell them on anything. So real estate website, big opportunity here today. Next big opportunity is your, if we can jump to the next slide, please. Sorry for the delay in the connection, is pay-per-click advertising. So like we talked about in the statistics, people are pulling their ad budgets, and I understand that, budgets are tight right now. So you might have done that yourself as well. But if you do have a little bit of budget to spend on advertising, I'll tell you right now is the time to do it. Ad costs are down, competition is low, ROI is up. So please, if you have a bit of budget to spend, test the waters with some Facebook or Google pay-per-click advertising. Use video, use imagery, but be sensitive of the imagery and the messaging that you're using. Try to avoid pictures of people hugging or shaking hands. These are not ways that we engage in our current world right now. So you want to be sensitive about those things when you're creating your ad messaging and your ad visuals. And try to target readers of news and media websites. This is where people are right now. They're browsing all the news sites to try and get information about COVID and other, news. That's what they're doing from home. So targeting your ads to, news and media websites is going to go a long way. And also with your ads, try and augment your brand with value. Don't try and sell. Again, you're going to have more conversions if your brand is being helpful rather than just trying to convert, traffic into commission checks, essentially. So try and provide value through your ads and be really sensitive, but do advertise. Next opportunity we'll talk about is social media engagement. Social media engagement is huge. It's up right now. And you want to be part of that conversation. Now, some social networks have experienced bigger spikes than others. For example, Twitter has grown, I believe, 24% in its user base since March 1st, because Twitter is a great place for people to get the news on COVID and just other news in general. So jump into that conversation. Be active on places like Twitter. Be active on places like YouTube. Like we talked about in the data, people are looking at online video much more. And so you want to be where people are. So create videos for those people, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Create video ads that show up as well on YouTube. This is where people are spending their time. Be there. Live streaming, huge tool for real estate agents right now, especially with the advent of live streaming open houses becoming even a tool on boards across the country, and perhaps even in the US. I'm not 100% sure about the US, but I know that in Canada, MLS boards have integrated live stream open houses into their MLS. So you can actually provide a link to your live stream and it'll show up on all your listings and on all the versions of your listing due to reciprocity. So make sure you're hosting these live stream open houses on the social networks like Facebook or Instagram, wherever you're the most comfortable. But don't limit it to just open houses. Also do, live streams of, Q&As or interviewing people or whatever it is that you're going to do. Going live looks great for your brand. If we can just go back one slide, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but I think that might mean I'm running out of time. The last one was just going to be to augment your brand and just focus your time on making your brand look great in this COVID era. You have a little bit of time to take it slow and smooth, so please do that. The last slides here are to take a look into the crystal ball. What is the future of real estate marketing going to look like? In terms of video communication, everyone's using Zoom today. After COVID, Zoom is going to become a household name. You're going to be able to connect with your clients on Zoom. It's not going to go anywhere, so use this tool. On the next look into the crystal ball slide, we'll talk about, I believe, staying at home. If we can jump ahead one slide. So people have become very comfortable staying at home. If we could just go back to the staying at home slide, thanks. People have become very comfortable with staying at home, whether they're doing their shopping or exercising, cooking, or anything else from the comfort of home. They don't leave if they don't need to, absolutely need to. And tomorrow, it's going to take a while for us to kind of come back from that. And so, we're still going to be hesitant to go out for things that are not essential. So it's really important for real estate agents to find ways to connect with people through the internet because they're going to be home for a while. Even if tomorrow the government says you're free, everyone's good to go out for the next, 6 months or a year, it's still going to be a slow process to get back to the way things were in February or January. And the last look into the crystal ball here is keeping safe. We're all very kind of conscious of germs these days. We've got masks on. We're not shaking hands. We're washing our hands all the time. We're disinfecting everything and self-isolating. This fear that's been instilled in us of this kind of invisible enemy is not going anywhere, and it's going to linger with us for a long time. So be prepared to post your live stream open houses, get documents signed digitally, meet with clients on Zoom. All these kind of things are going to become worked into the biology of your business moving forward. It's not just a today thing. Things are going to take a while to change. So expect that, prepare for that, and you're going to find success in the months to come versus people who are not prepared for these changes long term. So that's all. The next step was the question and answer, which we're going to do at 4 p.m. today. Thank you guys all for tuning in and joining me. I'm so sorry for the connection issues. I'm not sure what the issue was there, but I look forward to answering any questions you have, and feel free to email me directly if you have any questions after the presentation. Thank you guys so much, and thank you, Sue and Richard, for having me.